All right, well, welcome to the Only Child Review. We are joined here today by my mom. This is actually my mom. So, yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
And today I thought it'd be appropriate since by the time this actually gets posted, you'll have already seen a joyride with me and my dad. So I thought it'd be nice to have a counterpart here. Not a counterpart, whatever's opposite of counter. You know. And because I'm trying to get things more in sync with my forum, you know, where you can actually discuss things, I thought I would pose initially some questions. Actually, before I do this, let's give us some of your context. Who are you and what's going on? Keep in mind that I don't keep names, so you don't have to divulge any particulars. See, there's your juice.
Oh.
She's a lovely woman.
I don't know. The best I can do is say that I guess describe myself as someone my little 2-year-old described. Wild, weird, and wonderful.
There you go. There you go. I would agree with that. And I think it still holds. Paranoid. Let me check one thing. All right. I just get paranoid. One thing. It's funny. All right. Wild, weird, and wonderful. I do recall having said that.
Trying to believe that for myself.
You have any doubts?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, about which
You
part?
don't
All
come
of them?
onto the planet wild, weird, and wonderful and not be subjected to all kinds of crap.
True. True. This is a fact. This is a fact.
And you don't get to be 55 and not be impacted by that crap.
I'm sure. Yeah, she has had, to my knowledge anyway, a rather wild life full of ups, downs, dips, you know, ebbs, flows. Like us all, but perhaps a little more so.
Maybe a little more dramatic and traumatic.
Yeah, and it's not because she's a dramatic woman, but she does draw to her dramatic people from what I've seen over the last 28 years or so. But fortunately, I'm very glad to say that as her son and someone who cares about her welfare, she is kind of, I don't know, she's crossed the breach. She's,
Thank you.
you know, she's kind of let go of certain individuals who need not be there, and she's grabbed onto people and herself, I think, more specifically,
Thank you.
more than ever, which I think is very good and significant. And I know that for myself, speaking, of course, as an only child, but, you know, speaking to an only mom, I guess, I think it's an important thing to do, you know? So I've always applauded you for that.
Thank you.
What have I done with my list? Did you? Oh, okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, it's a little more. The setup here is a little more technical than usual, so I'm a little more. I don't know, a little thrown. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, Mom. I asked Dad about fatherhood, and I didn't have any prescribed questions, but now I've tried to get things. And the joy of my forum, as you know, is that you basically go in there and you answer a question according to the 4 votes you basically have in front of you, the 4 options. But then, of course, because it's a forum, you're able to kind of flesh out your answer by typing in whatever you feel is necessary. So this is just the questions I'll be posing on my forum, and I thought, you know, it's important for us to answer them ourselves if we're going to even pose that to anyone else. So. Motherhood is, or for those of us who can't be mothers, appears to be, and I have 4 options here. So, great at first, because I know people like their babies. People love the babies. So, you know, and then the teething, once you get the teething, and it's rough. And I know that you have, you know, I hear.
You started teething when you were 4 months old.
Hey, there you go. There you go. The most enriching thing in the world. What keeps women with their husbands? And just too damn expensive. So those are our 4 options. Motherhood is, or appears to be, any mixture of those 4 things, or something entirely otherwise. What do you think?
I think motherhood is wild, weird, and wonderful.
Okay. Okay. So that fits into probably all 4 of those.
It does. It really does. And you never know from one day to the next how it's going to be, because if you're already not normal...
Want to scoot a little closer, maybe?
Sure.
I'm
If you're
paranoid about
already
sound.
not normal,
Uh-huh.
and you've had a weird enough ride, not being normal. Well, you invite somebody into it, not knowing where abnormal is going to take you.
Yeah. So are you saying that? Are you speaking of your husband in this case, or the kid that you bring into the world?
I'm speaking of introducing myself to another human being and hope that everything that I offer him will be believed and received.
Now, are we talking about the kid or the husband here?
Well, you've already had the husband, so you've already
Right.
been in the process of engaging in that wild, weird, wonderful ride of will the everything I give be believed and received? Oh, here's another element to that. Now you're inviting a child into that process, that very complex, ridden process.
Yeah. Yeah, and
not knowing how you're going to be, because there's so many elements to your selfhood you're grappling with in terms of your marriage.
Okay, totally outside, totally extra.
Yes.
You have the marriage, which is its own kind of set of rules, and then you have the child rearing, which is its own set, and then for me the combination that's what strikes me as perhaps the most difficult. Just as the kid in the home that you and Dad share, that has been tricky because you always have there's the fear of the good cop bad cop, and as I've grown up, you've been the bad cop. Though as I've aged, I've really begun to appreciate, in many ways, very deeply truly appreciate the value of the bad cop in this situation. It often ends up being a little more hands-on in certain ways that the good cop just kind of fears being a part of. Not that the good cop doesn't recognize the value of being more hands-on in these more, I don't know, thinner than ice situations, but it takes balls.
Well, I never saw it as the good cop, bad cop. That came to be a stunning shock to me because of my incredible guilelessness and naivete. I saw it as, by God, I'm going to protect the interest and defend the causes of this human being. Mm-hmm. Just as I had protected and defended the causes of the man I was married to, am married to. I was compelled to do the same thing for this little exquisite human being.